Good evening, good evening, good evening. Salute everybody, salute and welcome. Welcome to another segment of the Dog Call. I'm your host, Armando Black. I've just been sitting back and watching all the prediction shows for this Saturday's big game, Tuscaloosa, 7:30 p.m. Bryant Denny Stadium, Saban Field. The number 2 ranked Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 4 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. It's going to be a hell of a game. It is going to be a hell of a game. But I am sitting back and I'm watching. I'm watching all of these podcasters on YouTube make their predictions, and they're making these predictions and they don't really they're really basing their predictions off of what happened last year. They're basing their predictions off of how good Bama looks this year so far. And I'm going to address that, because you Tide fans, you really psyched yourselves out into believing that you're the same team that you were last year in December that walked off that field in the Mercedes Benz Stadium, and you're not. You're nowhere near the same team. And mark my words, Kirby will remind the sports world why he is still the top dog of college football. Get your popcorn ready, everyone. This is the Dog Call. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Salute everyone, and I hope everyone is having a blessed and productive Thursday amidst all of this terrible weather that we're having. I hope everyone is in a safe space and everyone is safe. Don't go outside unless you have to. Do not go outside. Do not test this weather because this is some very dangerous weather that we're experiencing today. So, to all of my fellow Georgia Bulldog fans, please be safe in this weather. Now, let me get on to my talking points here. First of all, and I addressed this last night on the Dog Call, I'm really disappointed in a lot of these Georgia podcasters. The one thing that has irritated me about my fan base, my fellow dogs fan base, is you guys, you're quick to let these Bama fans get in your head. You're quick to let these Bama fans get in your heads. I mean, I'm just listening. Locked on Bulldogs. I'm listening to the film guy, Uncle Lou. I addressed you last night. All of you are picking Bama to win, and I'm a lot of this is amazing. You're picking the Bama to win Saturday, but based on what? And let me just say this now: I'm not a complete homer. I'm not a complete homer because I've said consistently, even on the Saturday morning kickoff shows, I've said it consistently. Georgia will lose one game this year. They will. But that one game will not be to Bama. And here's why. Bama is not proven. If this was Texas that we were getting ready to line up against Saturday, then yeah, I would be right along with you all. I probably would be picking Texas. If this was Tennessee, I probably would be picking Tennessee. If this was Ohio State that we was lining up against on Saturday, I would be picking Ohio State. Those are the only three teams in the nation that I feel that could possibly beat my Dogs or hang with us in a very, very close game. Everyone else, all these other teams that are being hyped up, Ole Miss, Miami, Missouri, Michigan, these other teams that are being hyped up, I do not think that they can beat my Dogs. Okay. Now, a lot of you are looking too much into the Kentucky game because you got to remember we had 3 of our key D linemen out. Mikal Williams out. Jordan Hall out. Warren Brinson out. Okay, and we still kept Kentucky out of the end zone. Hell, we kept them out of the red zone. We've kept everybody out of the red zone. No one has put the ball in the end zone on us. And Clemson has a very explosive offense. Clemson is right now, they're looking like the 2018 Clemson. Remember that Trevor Lawrence? They're looking like that right now. Ever since they lost to us. And I predicted that. I said that was a very good Clemson team that, in my opinion, will go on and win the ACC. But now a lot of you, I mean, you're overhyping Bama up, and that's your choice. You're overhyping Bama up. Let's just do the tail of the tape, okay? Let's do the tail of the tape real quick. Okay, Bama has played Western Kentucky, South Florida, Wisconsin. And everyone at the sound of my voice, ask yourself this question. And I'm just going to name off some lower tier teams in the SEC right now. I'm going to start with, let's just start with Florida. If Florida played Wisconsin tonight, who would you take in that game with money on the line? Now, I know Florida's had their issues, but I'm taking Florida. I would take Florida over Wisconsin. If Florida plays South Florida tonight, doesn't matter whether it's in Gainesville or in Tampa. If they lined up against South Florida tonight, who are you taking? My money would be on the Florida Gators. Okay. If the Florida Gators play Western Kentucky tonight, who would you take? My money would be on Florida. And I can throw Vandy in that same spot. Vanderbilt versus Wisconsin. I really believe Vanderbilt could have went into Madison and did the same thing to Bama. I mean, to Wisconsin that Bama did. It wouldn't have been that bad, but they would have beat them. Vanderbilt would have beat them. If they can hang with Missouri the way they did, there's no doubt in my mind that they could beat Wisconsin, which Missouri is a hell of a better team than Wisconsin. And in my opinion, I believe Vanderbilt is a better team than Wisconsin. I believe Vanderbilt could beat South Florida. And I know for a fact they could drag Western Kentucky. Those are the two. Mississippi State. I think it would be a close game with Wisconsin, but I think Mississippi State could beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin is going to lose some games this year. They're going to lose a lot of games this year. They'll lose about 5 to 6. They'll be lucky to be bowl eligible. That's how bad that team is. They're hit with injuries, number one. They don't have a passing game. They don't have pass rush They have a nice little run game. Little running game out of Wisconsin. That's a tradition for them. They've always had a decent run game. But they don't have no weapons that can hurt you on the outside. They don't have no pass rush. And they can't beat you in the air. So I say that to say this. What Bama has done the first 3 games, Florida could do it. Vanderbilt could do it. Mississippi State could do it. So all of you clowns are really trying to convince yourselves that Alabama is the same Alabama 10 years ago. Y'all are talking like this is 10 years ago. Y'all are talking like this is the 2014 or the 2015 Bama Crimson Tide. Y'all talk like this is the Bama of Jalen Hurts. Najee Harris. Y'all talk like Najee Harris is coming out their dressing room. Devontae Smith. Jerry Jeudy. Jalen Waddle. John Mechie. They don't have any of that. The defense, they don't have anything like Sean Robinson, Deshaun Foster, Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. They don't have anything like that. Nothing. And y'all are sounding like, oh, it's going to be impossible for Georgia to move the ball on that Bama secondary. How are they going to do it? Oh, how are they going to stop Carson Beck? That defense has not seen a quarterback nowhere near the level of Carson Beck. That secondary is not the same secondary that was there in December. Only one player remains on that defense, but the other ones are gone. Kool-Aid McKinstry is gone. Terrion Arnold is gone. Caleb Downs is gone. Caleb Downs, I've already told you how I feel about him. Probably the best safety that I've seen since Ed Reed. Terrion Arnold, lockdown corner. He's not there anymore. Kool-Aid is not there anymore. The experience and the lockdown capability is not there. And y'all are acting like Georgia got scrubs. You acting like we got scrubs, man. Have you heard of Dylan Bell? Do you remember that guy? You're talking about, Larry McConkey and Brock Bowers. Remember, they went down last year. Brock Bowers missed 4 games. Who do you think stepped in and took over in the Kentucky game and the Ole Miss game? And Ole Miss was in the top 5 last year when we beat them. Who do you think stepped up and took over? Dylan Bell, Dominique Lovett. Now you add Kobe Young to the mix. There's nobody in that Tide secondary that can out-jump Kobe Young. There's no one in that Tide secondary that can stop that man one-on-one. There's no one in that Tide secondary that Arian Smith cannot outrun. And Carson Beck, remember now, Carson Beck has a quick release. Now, he's had issues making downfield plays, but you best to believe that Carson Beck that you saw in Lexington, you're not going to see that Carson Beck Saturday night. You're going to see a totally different Carson Beck. Because that kid came back for this one reason. He came back for this one simple. He came back to finish the job. Now, yeah, lackluster performance in the game last against Kentucky. Yes, some of the greatest teams have had games like that. In my opinion, the greatest college football team to ever step foot on the field, the '01 Hurricanes, had a game like that on a Thursday night against Boston College. They went up to Boston College on a Thursday night and barely won on a lucky play by Ed Reed. But that team went on to become known as the greatest college football team of all time. Put more players in the NFL. That team, that '01 Hurricanes team. So you all just want to poo-poo on the Dogs because of that performance against a Kentucky team that is a hell of a lot better than what the record states. If the balls would have bounced a little differently, they could have beat South Carolina. Maybe if Mark Stoops would have had a little bit more cojones, they could have upset us. Kentucky could very well be 4-0. Oh yeah, and speaking of Kentucky, keep an eye on that Ole Miss Kentucky game. Now I'm not predicting that Kentucky will win, but that game ain't gonna be no cakewalk like what Ole Miss has been doing to them cupcakes they've been playing the first 3 weeks. This is gonna be a game. This is gonna be one you gotta roll up your sleeves, get in the dirt for 4 quarters type of game. And it don't matter that the game is gonna be in the Grove, because that Kentucky team is gonna bring the fight to them. They're gonna bring the fight to them. I remember all of you did the same thing. Y'all did the same thing 2 years ago. The week of the Tennessee game. Paul Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith, all the Tennessee podcasters, even some of you Georgia podcasters. Y'all were predicting that Tennessee would beat us. And I said, and I told all of you that Tennessee was not going to beat us. And I'm telling you right here tonight, it looks like Bama could beat us. All of that you're saying, Kalen DeBoer is a big game coach, a big time coach. But I'm telling you, all of that you're saying, it sounds good. It sounds good. But in real life, that's the reason why Georgia's going to win this game. This right here, this matchup is what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to who can outcoach who. It's going to be a chess game. Now, don't get me wrong. Kalen DeBoer, he's a chess player. But so is Kirby. Kirby is a hell of a chess player. Hell of a chess player. And I'm telling you, when the game is on the line, this man is hard to beat. This man is hard to beat. He's beaten some great coaches. That's something that DeBoer has not done. DeBoer has not went head to head with an elite coach, a seasoned veteran coach, and beat him. Sarkisian is not yet. Sarkisian is still, early in his coaching career. Not on the level of Jim Harbaugh, Ryan Day, and Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart, and Nick Saban. See, Kirby has been to war. He's battled. He's battle tested. Jimbo Fisher. The list goes on. Ed Orgeron. He's battle tested. Proven. This man, DeBoer, is not proven. Yeah, he's won. What, at a junior college? Had a winning record at a junior college? Had a winning record at the Pac-12? Well, last year, clearly, Washington was a better team than Oregon. They just had the better team. I don't really think it really didn't matter what coach was on the sideline. Washington was the best team in the Pac-12 because you had one of the arguably best players in the team in the conference, Michael Penix. He had NFL talent on that team. Way more NFL talent on that team than Oregon did. So of course, you was gonna beat Oregon. That's a no-brainer. But Oregon ain't Georgia. Dan Mullen is not Kirby Smart. That's where a lot of you are getting it twisted. So I say that to say this. Come Saturday, all of this talk that you're doing, all of this, keep giving Kirby bulletin board material. Keep giving, all you clowns have been doing is giving him bulletin board material all week long. And this man, Saturday, he's going to remind all of you who the hell he is and why he is the king of the South and the king of college football right now, today. Don't sleep on Kirby Smart. That could be the worst mistake that you could ever make. And the biggest mistake is to run your mouth before the game. Jalen Milroe, Tyler Watts, Kalen DeBoer. Y'all been running your mouth all week. Talk. Yeah, Jalen Milroe, we heard you. We heard what you said about how you made the defense quit in the fourth quarter. How you made the defense quit in the fourth quarter. Well, really, it was the Bama defense that actually won that game in the second half, not you, sir. But since you want to run your mouth and talk crap, you better be ready to back it up. Because the last few people that have talked crap to Kirby, players and coaches, they have talked crap to Kirby and our defense, oh, they paid the price for it. They paid the price. Gus, before the SEC championship game in 2017, Baker Mayfield, before the Rose Bowl, right before halftime. Dan Mullen. The Florida players, 2019, talk crap Notre Dame, Brian Kelly in 2019. Oh yeah. 2021, Dabo ran his mouth. DJU ran his mouth. Kirby is shut a lot of mouths up. A lot of people that were overzealous on the mic running their mouth before game time. Oh, let's not forget Josh Heupel in the Tennessee week in 2022. Remember that? Let's not forget Ryan Day, Marvin Harrison. How they were running their mouths at the press conference before the Peach Bowl. Let's not forget Sonny Dykes, how he ran his mouth before the national championship game. Oh yeah. So, Jalen Milroe, Kalen DeBoer, Kirby is going to remind you Saturday night who he is. With that being said, everyone, make sure you hit that like button. Thank you all for coming out. I'm Armando Black. Once again, if you're in the area in the Southeast Georgia area and in the middle part of Georgia, please be safe. Stay inside where it's safe and take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you all for coming out. I'm Armando Black. This has been the Dawg Call. Peace and blessings, and I am out.